What is up, Wholesale to Million family? We're back with another real estate wholesaling Q&A. But today I'm going to talk about the difference between an assignment and a double closing, because a lot of you have been asking me that question and say, Khang, what is the difference? And then when do I double close? And then when do I assign? So I'm going to answer it in this video. Also, too, if you have any questions, go ahead and pop in your phone number, and then I can bring you on live, and then you'll be able to ask your questions. And then before we even get started, I just want to share with you these two companies that I've been using. So number one is PropStreams. This is my affiliate link with PropStreams. Go to deals4menow.com. That is where you go to pull your distressed property. They have the number one data when it comes to pulling distressed property, pre-foreclosure, pre-probate, tax delinquents, high equity absentee owner, vacant, any distressed property that you can think of. Go to deals4menow.com. That's where I go to pull. If you use my affiliate link, you get a 7 days free trial with them. After the 7 days, if you don't like them, boom, you can just disconnect and no string attached. Also, too, it's the same website, the same company that I use to pull all of my cash buyer. A lot of you ask me, so Khang, how about cash buyer? Where do I find them? The best cash buyer that you can ever find that will pay you the most amount of money for your wholesale deal is number one is network with realtors, because they have that mom and pop that wants to buy a piece of property for their kids so their kid can go in there and spend a year or 2 years to rehab the property and live in it. Okay, so they're willing to pay top dollars. Savvy investors, well, they typically the one that flips a lot, even though they buy a lot from you, but then they typically buy it at a pretty steep discount. Because that's how they operate. And obviously they when they put up their they put up their money because they're doing a lot, they're taking a lot of risks, so they want to make at least a decent size profit. Okay, so I'll leave the link in the descriptions if you want to go check them out. And then a lot of you also wanted to know, hey Khang, what is the most cheap, affordable, and accurate skip tracing out there? Well, I just team up with one of my mastermind and one of my mastermind guy at Collective Genius, and we launched King Kong Skip. King Kong Skip is the most accurate and affordable skip tracing that you need for your real estate investment business. Okay, so all you need to do is take the list, go to kingkongskip.com, only 8 cents per skip. All right, so any questions, pop it in the comment. I'm going to bring you on live, and then you'll be able to ask me any question you want. Now, I'm going to talk about the difference between an assignment and a double closing. An assignment is when you're just going to assign your positions to buy that property from the seller over to the buyer, so you don't pay any costs unless you and the seller or you and the buyer negotiate it otherwise. But typically, the buyer will come in and assume your positions to buy the property, and then they'll pay for all the closing costs, all the fees. You don't pay anything, and you walk away with a check net to you. All right. Now, so anything that's for me. So for you, it might be different. For me, in my market, so my average deal size is typically between $20,000 to $25,000 per wholesale deal. So for me, anything that is less than, I would say anything that is less than 45,000 or so, I will assign it. So I can just assign it. At the time of closing, my buyer's going to find out how much I make on it. But because of the market that I'm in, they're not so much that's kind of a normal to them, because they're going to probably flip the property and end up making $70,000 or $80,000. And then I'm going to make, 40 or 45 or whatnot. And also too, is typically those are the buyer that I have built relationship with, that we have done multiple deals already. So I'm comfortable with them knowing how much I make on it. And also too is, let's say if I work with them for the first time, then typically I want them to put a large non-refundable deposit. So typically I like to get, 10 to 15,000, even 20,000 non-refundable. So that way, when it comes to closing, they see my assignment and they're like, whoa, Khang, you're making 40 G's on this deal, dude. What's going on? And then I'll be like, well, you know what? We had a deal. The price worked for you. And then if you get the buyer gets upset, they want to walk away, fine. If they want to walk away, guess what? They lose the deposit. So when they have so much skin in the game, they might get upset, they might get mad or whatnot. But I haven't had any buyer that got mad or upset, right? Because they are obviously, you tell, hey, you're going to make X amount. Why you worry about it? And then I say, hey, this is a relationship building. We'll bring you more deals, etc. But I haven't had any buyers that are mad or upset. They might like, whoa, you make 40K, Khang. Oh, whoa. Like, okay, good job. And that, but so for me, anything that is 50,000 or more, that's when I do a double closing. So this is how double closing works. Okay. And double closing works in every state. And I think in every state, you can also assign the contract. So anything that is $50,000 or more, all right, I will double close. So when it comes to double closing, this is what you got to understand. So now you're actually going to buy the property from the seller. Okay. So which means whatever you and the seller agreed upon, let's just say that you and the seller agreed on a purchase price of $100,000. And you're like, hey, we're going to pay all your closing costs and all your fees. And then when you double close, which means you're going to be the buyer that's going to buy the property. So now you have to come up with your own cash, or you have to get private money or hard money lender. Typically, people that double close can use hard money lender, or if you're working at, if you're in the States where the title company, where they can use the end buyer's fund to fund the whole transaction. That is the ideal situation. But there are title companies that say, hey, you have to come in with your own funds. So here's how it works. So you and the seller agree on a purchase price of $100,000. You said, hey, we're going to pay all your closing costs and all your fees. Typically, the closing costs and your costs and the seller costs roughly will come to about 3%. So you got to take that in consideration. So 3% on 100,000 is $3,000. Not much. But what if the purchase price is $400,000, $500,000, $800,000? You see? So obviously the lower the purchase price, the fee is not that much. But when it gets to a bigger number, obviously it's going to cost you a lot in closing cost fees. So you got to take that in consideration. So that way, when you do double close, you want to make sure that you have enough profit, enough spread in there that it actually makes sense for you to double close versus you just like, hey, if you close on let me give you an example. Let's just say that you on a $500,000 minus 3%, $500,000. Okay, minus 3%. That's roughly a $15,000 just closing cost fees. $15,000 closing cost fees on a $500,000 purchase price. Okay, and if you're gonna make, let's just say, if you're gonna make $50,000 on this deal minus your $15,000, guess what? Now you only walk away with $35,000. Well, why not save the headaches and just talk to the buyer and say, hey, you listen, here's what we're gonna do, and then just reduce the price and just assign it. So that way you don't have to worry about the whole mess. Okay. So the double closing. Okay. So you're going to come in, you're going to close with the seller, and then typically the same day. Okay. So you take title for maybe a few hours, but the same day your buyer is going to come in with the funds. Okay. So the title company is going to close between you and the seller. And then at the same time, they're going to close between you and the end buyer. Okay. So whatever you and the end buyer agreed upon, let's just say you tell the end buyer, hey, you're going to pay all my closing costs and all the fees. So when you drop the purchase and sale agreement, so double closing comes out to two different purchase and sale agreement. A purchase and sale agreement between you and the seller. It's not an assignment agreement. A purchase and sale agreement between you and the seller, and then another purchase agreement between you and the end buyer. And then that purchase and sale contract will protect you as a seller now. So you have a purchase and sale contract between you and the seller that protects you as a buyer. But then when it comes to selling it to your end buyer, you're going to have a different purchase and sale contract that will protect you as a seller. That is very, very important. You do not want to use the purchase and sale contract that you sign with the seller and then you sign with your end buyer, because now it's going to protect your end buyer, not you. So if you need a purchase and sell contract, guess what? Your boy King Khang is going to help you out. Just shoot me a text over to 1-206-208-0676, and I'll send you all my purchase and sale contract, my assignment agreement, my double closing. I actually do a video on it, show you exactly how to use it, how to fill it out, all for free. So just shoot me a text, and then just with the word contract, free contract, to 1-206-208-0676, and I will hook you up. All right. So text it over to me with the word free contract, and I'll hook you up. And anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please show your boy King Kong some love. Boom! Really smash the thumbs up. Really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the Wholesale to Million family. This is all about wholesaling real estates. My goal, my missions now I understand in life is to help people become financially free. I finally understand that not everybody wants to become a millionaire or need to become a millionaire. I think you should. All right. But not everybody needs to. A lot of people just want maybe a simple life where they will make 10,000 a month or 20,000 a month or 30,000 a month. I think even with that amount, it's enough to change your life and your family life. And it's enough to allows you to become financially independent. Now, if you're bad with money, then it doesn't matter how much you make. You will never be financially independent. You'll never be financially free if you're bad with money. If you don't know how to manage it, save it, and obviously reinvest it, then it doesn't matter how much you make. That's why football player or sport player or whatever it is, they can go bankrupt while making millions and millions and millions of dollars. Okay. So now that I understand that now after going through some really dramatic stuff that happens to me and my family, I realized my true mission in life is just to get, because when I had COVID, I was sick. Sorry, I'm going a little off topic here, but I want you guys to understand. A lot of you might not know. Just a few weeks ago, I had COVID. Lon had COVID. Almost all my family had COVID, and it's just still really hard for me to talk about this. So I'm just gonna skip through it. But when I had that, obviously we're financially stable. I didn't have to worry about bills. I didn't have to worry about anything. I didn't have to worry about the money, where the bills, the mortgages. I didn't worry any about that. All my worry is hopefully my family will heal, will be safe and all that, and obviously worry about my health. But then some of my family member were worried about bills and all of that. They were worried about the bills, the mortgage, the rent. And then I realized, maybe not everybody needs to be a millionaire, but if I can just help people getting to 10,000 or 20 or 30,000 a month, dude, that will set them free. And I think anyone that has the ambitions, the drive, the work ethic, getting you to 10,000, 20, 30,000 a month, especially in today's world, to me is extremely achievable. If you're lazy, I cannot help you. But if you have the work ethic and you're willing to grind and hustle and make the sacrifices, short-term pain for the long-term gain, I can help you, my friend. All right? Because I feel it's extremely achievable. It's extremely achievable for anyone, okay, that have the work ethic. So anyway, okay, so now let's go back to the whole double closing. I hope this video is not too boring. So now let's go back to the whole double closing. So the double closing is you got to understand, you got to pay for the seller's fees. And then at the same time, you're selling the property over to your end buyer. Okay, so it's all going to happen typically within the same days. I know some title company needs at least 24 hours. Like they want you to actually hold title for at least one day, and then and then obviously they will, and then the next day your buyer comes in with the funds and then close on it. Okay, now, so that is a double closing. So when you do a double closing, your end buyer does not see how much you make. After everything closes, you got your money, then your buyer can come back and your buyer can say, hey, you know what? Boom. Here's what's going on. Wow, you make a lot of money, but it's just too late. So that's where I use double closing, is when you know that this buyer might be a little mad, upset that you're making so much money and you just don't want them to see it. Double closing is where it comes in. Okay. Seller won't see it. Buyer won't see it. If you do an assignment, seller will never see your assignment fee. If you find a right title company, there are title companies that don't know how to do it right, so the seller might see it. But typically, if a company that knows how to do an assignment, seller will never see whether you do a double closing or an assignment. All right, so let's jump into a Q&A. My mom died of COVID too. Oh, man. Oh, man, it's tough. I'm sorry to hear that. And, God, I don't want to talk about this. But any of you or your family member have COVID I'm not a doctor. I'm just gonna share with you what works for me and what saved two of my in-laws' life. Is that ivermectin. I don't know if YouTube is gonna take this down or they're gonna ban me. I try to post it on my stories, and they sent me an email saying that they were gonna take the video down. So I don't whether I'm banned or this video be taken down, whatever. But ivermectin saved both of my brother-in-law's life. And if I, man, this is just so hard to talk about. Okay. But ivermectin, vitamin D, vitamin C. There's another pills that I took was NAC. Basically these are all, and then multivitamins, zinc. All of these support your immune systems. But ivermectin it's once again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just sharing with you what worked for me and what I've seen happen. Is the cure to COVID. It is. Like if you first get tested and you find out that you are sick from it, get ivermectin. And my brother-in-law took one in the morning, one at night for 3 days in a row, and boom, he was back at 98% healthy again. And it was just unfortunate enough that I couldn't. Okay. All right, let's move on. Okay, I'm just gonna grab one or two questions, and then I'm just gonna grab one or two questions, and then we're just gonna end this live. So if you have a questions, punch in your phone number, and I'm gonna bring you on live. And to me right now, it's still so hard for me just to talk about what happened the last couple of weeks. I think I need at least 6 months to a year to actually talk about it. So, but anyways, when I go through all this, health is the greatest gift that God can ever give you. And I remember, I can't believe this. Okay. I know we're taking a little different turn, and this is going to get a little personal. When Lon and I was at home, we had COVID, and I was laying there, and for people that never had COVID, or if it never hit you hard, it didn't hit me too hard, but it hit Lon's pretty hard. I faint, but it was because I was so hungry, and the sign of COVID, you lost sense of taste, you lost sense of smell, and it makes you not want to eat. Like even if I pick up something to eat, like I'm starting to get cold sweat. It's extremely weird, and it feels like you have a bad flu, but you don't have a bad flu. So when you feel like that, you need to go get tested, and then obviously get medication to support your immune systems. And anyways, and I was laying there, and let me tell you, nothing matters in life. Nothing matters. Do another deal, who cares? Make another 10, 20 G's, who cares? I just wanted my families to be healthy again. I just want to go back to normal. And all I wanted at that time in Soul Salon was I wanted just to take her for a walk. And that was it. And I remember, there's a saying that the most expensivest bed in the whole entire world, the most expensivest bed is the hospital bed. And that's one thing that Moni can buy. Like no one's willing to take X amount of dollars just to go and be sick for you and lay in the hospital bed to replace you. So make sure you guys take care of your health. I know as an entrepreneur, as go-getter, we're always trying to hustle, and we feel like we don't have time to go put an hour in just to work out or go for a 30-minute walk or a 40-minute walk. A lot of times you don't think a 30 or 40-minute walk will do anything to your body, but trust me, it makes a big difference. Because the different, it's not about doing it one time, 2 times, a month, or 2 months. But the difference that will change your life is consistency. It's doing it every single day. just like everything else. And that is what's going to change your life. And you feel like maybe you go to the gym and like you can't squeeze in an hour. What about 15 minutes? What about 20 minutes? Just doing 100 or 200, 1 or 200 jumping jacks a day. All of those. But being consistent is what will change your life. What will makes the big impact in your life. A lot of time we oversee the little things, but it's the little things that compound over time that make the big changes in life. Like when I look back to in my life and all the things that Lon and I did, and let me tell you, when Lon and I was living in a little shed behind a mobile home park, right? We made a promise to God that the better we do in life financially, the more we'll give away. And at that time, Lon and I can only afford to give away $20. And $20 to us, so $20 every single month we give to an organization called Feed the Children, right? Feed the Children. And we promise God that the better we do, but we're going to start with $20. And that $20 to us at that time felt like $200. That's how much, like, that's like, it felt like $200. And now we're giving away $2,000, $3,000 a month to different charity. And if you believe in tithing, if you believe in giving back, I'm telling you, I believe that it's probably the one of the thing that actually shaped and changed our whole entire life is when we see how grateful we were compared to other people in other country and situation and circumstances, and we decide to give. If you have $10 in your bank account and you're willing to give $2 away, that is more than people that have $100K in the bank account and only give out maybe $200 away. Because you're taking you have $10, but you're willing to cut that 10 and give away, you're giving 20%. So, sorry, I don't even know if $10, $2, 10%, but I'm just giving you kind of, I'm not good with math, so anyways, let's move on. I do want to squeeze in one or two question, a Q&A. For those of you, if you have any questions you want to ask, anything, real estates, crypto, NFT, I don't do stocks, but I am planning to launch my own NFT project, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, hit me up on IG, go to Khang, Khang, like a period, WTM, but I'm working with one of my NFT manager. We're working on launching our own NFT project. I really need help with this NFT. I want to make it a successful business. I want to make sure that everyone benefit from it. I want to make sure everyone can make money from it. But I want to also make sure that it add a lot of value. Like it's not like a one-time thing, but it will last for years and years and years and years and years. So I'm trying to come up with ideas of how I can, like, what are my utilities, right? How can I make this so valuable that people wants to, be in the NFT club? So if you have any kind of suggestion or any ideas, please share with me on Instagram. Just DM me on Instagram, Khang, Khang, like a period, WTM. Do I have to pay for the first closing? I can't pronounce your name, but the answer is yes. So whatever it is that you agree with the seller. So typically when we go and we put a property under contract with the seller, we said, hey, we're going to pay for all your closing costs. So if that's what you agreed upon, then yes, you will have to pay for all the closing, the first one. So if you have any question, punch in your phone number. I love just to bring you on a call because reading is definitely not my thing. So that's why a lot of you DM me with a long paragraph, like I don't even read it because I just don't like reading. I'm not good at it. And it's just, I don't know why it makes me go, maybe go cuckoo. Is it a good time now here in Montreal, Canada to buy my first home during this pandemic? So next door, Jeff, listen, man, the only time that I feel like you're ready to buy your first house is when you have your career in place. So if you have your career in place, you're making 10, 20 G's consistently every single month, or I know in Canada, things are a lot more expensive. So you got to make sure that your income is there. So unless you have a foundation, unless you have a career already, then yes, you can think about buying your first house. But if you don't, I would just save all that money because you got to put a large amount of a deposit down. I would just take that money, man, and invest into your career. Most businessmen that starts in their parents' basement, starting in their garage, we start in a shed. So until you have a foundation, until you have a career, I don't think you should think about buying your first house. I think you should focus on building your career, building your business first. And once it pumps you consistently, once you're making 10, 20, 30,000 a month or whatever, and you feel like, you know what, I'm kind of financially stable, and then that's when you can go and I think, like, I'm sharing with you what I have done, what I've been through, and what I feel like is probably what I would do. So yeah, so I don't know what your financial situation is, but I think a lot of people that follow me, I don't think and a lot of you want to buy your first house. A lot of you, I don't feel like you're ready yet. Now listen, when you buy your first house, you want to put the least down as possible because you want to keep the money liquid so you can invest it into other things that'll make you more money. But to me, when I feel like you're ready is when you can go buy a house, and this is when you know you can afford it. Okay? This is when you know you truly can afford it, in my opinion. Most time when you buy your first house, the bank only require you to put 3.5% down. All right? Well, I don't know about Canada, but in the US, 3.5% down. So if you have 3.5% down in your bank and you want to go buy that house, and that's all you got, to me, you can't afford it. You cannot afford it. All right. If you take everything that you got and go put it down and then you are at zero, or maybe you have a few $1,000 left, you cannot afford it. You cannot afford it. To me, even though you want to put the minimum down, but to me, you need to be prepared where you're like, hey, I can put 20% down and still have 6 months or 12 months in reserve. That to me is when you know you're ready. And that to me is when you know that you don't over leverage, which means you're not out buying house that are like way more than you can afford. That's what most people do. They go buy a bigger house than they can afford. And then when you lose your job, guess what happened? You lose everything you got. Or now you're super stressed because you can't afford the mortgage payment. You don't have any saving. You don't have any reserve for the rainy days. Let me tell you, my friend, in life is really weird. Lon and I was working every day. We were healthy, and boom, the next day we hit with COVID. And I've seen people back in 08, 09, when the real estate market crashed, boom, the next day the market just tanked. People start losing their job left and right, and foreclosure went skyrocket. Because why? Those are people that, one, don't have reserve. They were never prepared for the pandemic. They're never prepared for things like this, for the rainy days. And that's what happened. Or they buy a house more than they can afford. They lose their job. So guess what? They can't afford it. Dude, people make $10,000 a month. And if your mortgage is half, let's just say you make $10,000 a month. And if your mortgage is half of your monthly income, you cannot afford it, my friend. You cannot afford it. You make $10,000 a month and you have to pay $5,000 in your mortgage, and you think, oh, I make 10 G's and, oh yeah, it's okay. I can afford it. I can pay 5 G's. Dude, you can't afford it. You're buying a house that is bigger than what you're making, in my opinion. Lon and I, so let me give you kind of, okay, so Lon and I, at the time, all right, Lon and I was making, I think we're making, I don't know, maybe almost $200,000 a year. And guess the kind of house that we bought. We bought our first house for $350,000. We could have gone and bought a $500,000 house, even a $700,000 house. But guess what we did? We bought something that was way less because we knew that we wanted to not put everything we make into the mortgage. We want to have liquid cash because we knew that this is our first home, but it's not our dream home. So, but we buy something that is less, so we can when we can take the extra cash and invest it back into our self-education, into our business, and buying rental property. So my rental costs more than my house right now. So Lon and I still live in the same house It's been what, 14 years? We bought it back in 2007, November of 2007, and we owe like, I don't know, we only owe like 50 or 60,000 on it. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like a lot of you, that's what you're doing. You are overpaying. All right, so if you guys don't have any other questions, no phone number, then we just gonna wrap this up. All right, I guess that's it. So anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it does add some value to you. And in any ways, I greatly appreciate every single one of you that tune in, that watch this live. And if you enjoy it, boom, smash that thumbs up, show your boy King Kong some love. Also, too, is make sure you, boom, smash that subscribe button if you're new to the family. And also, too, is turn on that bell notification. Until next time, you guys, thank you so much. Take care and